Come on, let's go.
Says it's streaming on YouTube.
I know. I'm watching the feed. There we go. As long as I see that we're. Yep, there's the chat. So I'll go ahead and post this, and I'll go ahead and post this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Suds and the Squared Circle. I am Vinny. This is Christy, and Happy New Year. Today is January 1st, 2024. The chat room is open. Welcome to the show. Christy, how was your New Year's celebration?
Oh gosh, it was good. I kind of threw a last minute Taylor Swift New Year's Eve party, but I think it went well. I had a few people stop by, so I'm happy with that. Next year I'll be better prepared and I'll think about it ahead of time. But yeah, it was awesome. I was excited. Had probably too much to drink, a few too
Uh,
many Diet Coke vodkas and rosé and then champagne at midnight. But that's what New Year's Eve is for. So I went to bed very what I call lubricated, and then I woke up thinking I had to go to work the next day, and I didn't have to go to work. So I went home. I went home and I went back to sleep today. So it's all good.
all right. Well, I mean, you had more fun than I did. I literally went to bed 30 seconds after the ball dropped, so I just couldn't make it. Sucks getting old. Um,
Yeah.
but either way, last week was a shortened week for General Hospital, obviously, with Monday being Christmas. There was no episode. We did have 4 new episodes, though, Tuesday through Friday. There was no episode today because of being New Year's Day, and there's a lot of football, college football on. So we'll start back again tomorrow with that. As we are going live now, I just got word that The Rock actually came out on Monday Night Raw. I was watching Monday Night Raw. Triple H earlier teased that a former WWE champion would be coming back to the WWE tonight to Raw. And when I stopped to get this set up, it was Jinder Mahal who came out. It was almost like a fart in church if that was going to be the surprise. But then as I'm sitting here and scrolling through X, I see The Rock actually came out. So either way, it is what it is. If you're enjoying Monday Night Raw, I'm happy for you. But you could always watch that on Hulu later. You can watch us now. But regardless, it is what it is. We're going to get into some Port Charles news and notes. How did you like last week's episodes?
That's fairly good. I mean, there was only a few little things that I was like, eh. Like I didn't care too much for the Gregory and Alexis stuff, but other than that, I think it was pretty decent. Maybe more than decent. If you
Yeah,
talk to the Sabrinas, it was definitely more than decent. So
you're right. You're right.
that
It is. Although I think they're gearing up for Nicholas Alexander Chavez's exit. As we know that he's going to be going on to play
yeah.
that Netflix series about the Menendez brothers. So he's going to be leaving. I don't know if it's that his contract is expiring and he's leaving for good, or if he's just leaving temporarily. What they're going to do with Sabrina,
Hopefully,
speculating.
just temporarily because they're having them go to Paris together. So I'm like, I hope it's just temporarily
Well, why would
because that would be a good exit strategy.
well the question remains is why would they put Tabiana on hiatus with Nicholas if he's the only one going off to do something?
Well, I don't know. Maybe they'll just show her sometimes doing something and then, she'll be like always saying, "Oh, I'm meeting up with Spencer later and so forth and blah blah blah." I don't know.
Well, it definitely could be either way. Thank you for those of you who are watching. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and get notified anytime something comes up. How all right? So yeah, I don't know if that's going to be the exit strategy for Nicholas Alexander Chavez or Spencer, as we all know, because he is going to be leaving. I don't know if they're going to be doing something different. I would have thought that maybe he would be going away and not Trina. But overall, it looks to me like they're both going to be going to Paris unless something happens in the near future.
Right. Yeah, something with Esme could happen now that she has her memory back.
Yes,
So she could be turning the tables on them for all we know.
exactly. Esme is getting her has gotten her memories back. It's about time. It took long enough.
I
Um,
mean, how long did they take? Because I was trying to think about this. Was it about 6 months? Was it longer? Like,
oh God, I think it's
was it a
been at
year?
least a year at this point.
Oh
Um,
gosh, why do they always
because she
take so
was still
freaking long?
pregnant when she jumped off the parapet. So she gave birth and she was in prison while she didn't remember before giving birth and everything. So yeah, it had to be at least a year, if not more.
That's so
I
crazy.
was,
No one thought to like take her to like the scene of the crime of her being locked up as a
right,
prisoner in Windermere in that time, you think? To try to trigger some memories, which is what happened. Her doing it on her own, having the idea, well, let me go to Windermere and see what happens.
exactly. No, I completely agree with you. But see, here's the thing is I honestly thought that this was going to be a redemption storyline. I mean, it still could potentially be, but with her going to see Heather and her starting to remember everything and the way she's talking about Spencer, that she wants to spend her life with him, and how it doesn't feel like she has any remorse for Trina. It feels like she's back to her same old self. I you know, could there potentially be a redemption storyline for her? David, welcome to the show. Thank you for
Yeah.
joining in. Spencer, Trina, and Ezra have a showdown sometime next month, so that could be how Spencer gets written out for the time being.
Sure.
But either way, how do you see Heather being back? In this limited capacity behind bars, and Allie Mills always brings it.
Yeah, that's why I love it. I was so excited to see Allie Mills back and giving advice to her daughter and being like, just act like you don't know anything still. Just play dumb and act like you still don't remember anything. And I was like, okay. So this could be very interesting to see her give, you know, I hope she continues. I hope Esme continues to visit her mom in
Yeah.
prison and continue to get advice on like how to act like her former self, I guess, and
Mhm.
turn the
I want to.
tables. But
I hope that Kevin gets a bigger role in this, considering he is her uncle. I
mhm.
want to see him. I would love to see some kind of a battle between Heather and Kevin, where Esme's kind of like right in the middle, and just Kevin obviously trying to have her do good for Ace and for the family and change her ways, and to kind of see uh Ryan, who is her father, obviously, in a different light because she looked up to him. I mean, she was just enamored with Ryan Chamberlain when she first came to town. I mean, to the point where I almost thought that it was more of a sugar daddy type of situation when
Mhm.
um, but I want to see Kevin kind of have more of a role in her upbringing or in her memory uh,
Yeah.
situation
Yeah.
to really show that remorse.
Yeah. Time will tell. I mean, it would be good if he came back, but I'm not quite sure yet what's going to happen. I'm just kind of happy Allie Mills was back on and we got to see those scenes with Esme. And so now we'll see if she actually really does anything to be back like her
Yeah.
former self, pull some moves.
Yes, exactly. Um, so all right, so I want to kind of switch gears a little bit. We know Esme's getting her memories back. We know that that's going to end up causing problems for Trina and Spencer in the near future. And who knows? Maybe Joss and Dex. She's going to get involved somehow. I've been seeing rumor and innuendo that maybe Esme and Adam could become an item. I don't
Mhm.
know for sure if that's going to happen unless they end up meeting in the sex court
Yeah.
somewhere. Um,
I don't know why they would become an item personally. Like maybe they become closer friends, but
yeah,
like I don't see why they would become an item when she has Dex.
Yeah.
unless something happens to Dex. I don't know.
No, no, no,
Like that
no.
just doesn't make any sense.
Esme and Adam, not
Oh,
Josh.
Esme and Adam, not Joss and Adam. Okay,
Right.
sorry. Yeah, Esme and Adam. That could be. I mean, I don't know. I guess they're going to make him more of a regular character then, if that was to happen. But
But I mean, if you think about it, Adam right now is stressed out about college, having to girlfriend with a child, and having to worry about that. He actually may pull his hair out. Um,
I
you know,
don't know if he's a good fit for anybody in a coupling. To
not
be honest, I
not
don't
right
think.
now, not at this point.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. All right, so I think it's pretty clear Alexis is not one of my favorite characters on the show. However, I do have to kind of I gotta say something that um she had a couple of scenes this week. She had a couple of scenes with Christina and Molly talking about the legalities of the situation with the surrogacy and Christina donating her egg as well. Basically saying that even though you guys are all set to become, Christina's agreed to become surrogate, your parental rights still kind of trump any kind of rights that Molly may have, and I honestly don't feel that this was even necessary to bring into it. Like we saw earlier in this in the storyline that Christina and Molly weren't getting along because of everything and emotions were flying high. Now it almost seems like Alexis is trying to put the kibosh in there. Happy New Year, Nathan. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for the Happy New Year to both of us as well. Uh,
Yes, thank you.
so yeah, I mean, what was the point? What was the point of Alexis talking to Molly and Christina about the legalities of it?
I guess maybe to try to stop it from happening because maybe she really doesn't want it to happen. That's like the only thing I can think of because obviously I knew like Christina wouldn't try to like get parental rights from her sister over the
Right.
baby. Like I'm
Yeah.
sure she'll bond with the baby and feel like a special attachment to the baby, obviously, but I mean she's not gonna like try to like get legal rights to her sister's baby. Like that's yeah, it just seemed like it was maybe not necessary, but
I mean, I
the
know.
only thing I can come up with is that Alexis
Yeah.
was just trying to stop the
Exactly.
whole thing from happening.
I mean, I know the drama is obviously paramount to what GH is, but I feel like this was unnecessary drama. We've seen the drama between Molly and Christina already. Let's kind of move past it.
Yeah.
Let's see how long it takes Christina to actually get impregnated. I did like TJ going over to see Christina as well and kind of them talking it out and hashing things out, and that Christina assured him, I want to do this for you, for you and Molly. I don't want to have the baby for me. It's, to help you. I did like that, but I felt that Alexis just, again, put her nose where it didn't belong.
Right. Yeah, no, me too.
Um, but that's not the only thing Alexis did this week. You kind of alluded to it earlier,
Mhm.
but Gregory and Alexis went skydiving. In this one, I kind of thought it was comic relief, with Alexis asking so many questions at the very beginning, almost chickening out, and just I get it because that's the same way I would be. I'm not a fan of heights. I'm not, I'm afraid of heights. Um, but that would be me in that kind of a situation, making sure that everything is safe and, you know, kind of stalling to the point of it. I thought that was funny.
I think that's what it was supposed to be, comic relief.
Hmm.
And it was okay. Like I just
The bigger question I had was, did Gregory do skydiving with his cane?
oh, good point. Yeah,
Because
see. You don't actually get to see the actual jump out of the
of
plane,
course
so
not.
you don't.
No, but the fact that he had his cane after landing, it's almost like, did he have it strapped to him while he was in the air and just kind of, took it with him? Um,
Right.
kind of a little bit of continuity problems there. Um, I mean, was somebody waiting for him at the bottom, when he landed with the cane? But then Gregory and Alexis kissed. Um, you know, I wonder how they're gonna I wonder how they're gonna explain that. It was it just adrenaline,
Yeah.
you
I
know?
was rewatching that moment and I was just like, okay, well, I guess you think that's a good time to kiss someone when they're just like on a high from jumping out of a plane. I guess you think it's a good time. I don't know.
Yeah,
It seemed a little, I guess maybe they were trying for a climatic moment there with them. And I was
yeah.
just like, this is just weird. I'm sorry. I really thought that Gregory had more chemistry with Tracy.
Hmm.
And because Tracy's not a regular
Yeah,
character, she's recurring. I think that's why they didn't go with Tracy and Gregory, which I think would have been a way better pairing, in my opinion. But what do I know? I
yeah,
don't work at GH, so I'm just a fan. Uh, yeah, it was okay. I mean, I just, I don't really see this pairing going anywhere, in my opinion. I think it's just going to be kind of a little temporary thing, you know,
yeah.
just for Gregory to have some kind of companion before he passes. So
Yeah, I agree. But I do agree with you that he does have a lot more chemistry with Tracy. But then again, in my opinion, Nancy Lee Grahn is a just she's similar to to Finn, in my opinion. Like they're just a black hole of chemistry. Um, and David, you're right. It was totally invigorating for both of them. That's what happens when there's just a lot of adrenaline going on, and you're in the moment. Like it reminds me of that scene in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part Two, when right after Ron and Hermione uh, kill the Horcrux in the Chamber of Secrets, and they just start kissing with all the water and everything kind of blowing down. I'm
that's
like,
like
yeah,
the third movie. I don't think
no,
that's the last
that
movie.
was the eighth movie.
Is it?
Uh,
Was it the last movie? I
yeah,
don't know. I'm not a Ron and Hermione fan. Hi, I'm a Harry and Hermione fan. I'm sorry. I still think they should have ended up together. J.K. Rowling said many years ago she made a mistake, and Ron and Hermione were wish fulfillment. But that's another podcast for another day. But I'm just saying, I mean, that is a good,
yeah,
similarity there, but it's just kind of like I never saw. See, I have the same thing with Ron and Hermione. Like I never really saw them as anything. I didn't really take them seriously, and I don't take Alexis and Gregory seriously. Like I feel it's just a heat of the moment thing, and I don't know. It's just me though.
but no, although I will say this past week I did go to the Harry Potter experience in New York City, uh,
Ooh,
and that was a fantastic exhibition. So I had fun there, and I kind of wish that some of the soaps still taped in New York, being so close to New York. But um, either way, that again, that's another podcast for another time. Maybe we'll get to a Harry Potter watch along or something in the near future. Because that could be just another content podcast coming out at some point. We'll have to talk about that. Uh, but getting back to General Hospital, yeah, I didn't quite. I don't know. I I I still don't buy Gregory and Alexis. Like and it almost goes back to the same thing with Sam. She's slept with Sonny, and now she's with his son Dante. And Alexis was with Finn, and now she's with his father Gregory. It's like one of those things where um they're just all intermingling, and I know a lot of the fans out there get really mad at that. But I don't know. It doesn't work for me, brother. That's all I can say. It just doesn't work for me.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm there too.
Um, all right. So I guess kind of moving on. Sasha and Cody are in the stables. Sasha bring was it was it Cody was it Sasha that brought Cody the gift, or
I
was it
think
Cody
so.
the
I think she left him a gift, and he was being very cheeky and cute about it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's what it was. Um, I still can't wait for those two to actually get together. I'm enjoying the flirtation. I'm enjoying the, you know, he's waiting for her and everything. But I guess what I don't understand is how the hell could he go to prison if Mac finds out that he's that Cody's his son? Like, did he sign any official legal documents saying that he was Leopold Taub's son? Like last year when Scott was trying to get him to go along with the money scheme or whatever. I thought he kind of stalled on everything so he didn't have to sign anything knowing it was false.
Yeah, I don't know if he signed anything legal. So, I mean, I thought maybe he just had a DNA test or something, but
Well, I mean, obviously he couldn't have a DNA test.
I
Um,
don't know. I don't know.
and David, I kind of jumping back, David, I agree. Gregory deserves any happiness that comes his way. I get that. I don't buy Alexis and Gregory as a couple. That's my biggest thing.
Right.
Um,
Right. I'm fine with Gregory being happy. It's just that's not my preference. Just not my preference.
um, but yeah, where was I? Oh yeah, Cody and
Cody and Sasha and the
yeah,
gift.
and not to
This-
mention
yeah.
Felicia's on the case now. Felicia kind of is, but it almost like came out of left field why Felicia all of a sudden thinks that Cody was lying. I don't get that. Where did that come from? The fact that he was just so caring towards James, like
Yeah.
makes no
I
sense.
guess
How you
I
get
guess
from one
maybe
place to the
she
other?
thought something was off with his behavior and thought something was suspect. But I don't think the truth is going to come out about that for a while because the actor who plays Mac, is off screen with a bunch of health issues. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a little while before we see
Actually,
probably a reveal.
come to think about it, he did post a Mac did, or John J. York, the actor of
Mhm.
Mac, did post a positive update, um, on his timelines on his social media. So again, we wish him all the best
Yes.
towards his recovery, and hope to see Mac back on our TVs, and as soon as he can.
Right.
But I'm glad that he did. He has that positive update. Um, I I don't know. Like I want to see Cody and Maxie get closer as brother and sister, because that's how they're going to play it. Cody really cares about James, and he wants to make sure that James's writing goes okay, and all his other stuff, and the way he reacted when he found out James was sick, after that um conference call or whatever they had with Sasha and Maxie. um it it's almost like it's got to be one way or the other. Like you don't want to go too overboard over a child that, for all intents and purposes, is a stranger to you. Because that almost sounds creepy in my opinion. The way that came off, like
Yeah.
almost like he was caring for him as a father figure or something. When we, as far as we know, he only gave him one writing lesson or something.
Yeah.
I don't. I still
Yes.
don't know about that.
A little strange.
You got to wonder where the writing is going with that, um because it just the way it's being written right now is just very, there are pieces missing. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, they kind of tend to do that a lot in GH, and I think that's just because they're juggling so much that things just kind of get left in a weird spot, and we just have a lot of unanswered questions with things like that, and we just kind of have to wait for things to play out and for them to fill in the gaps.
Oh no, I definitely agree with you on that.
Mhm.
um we did see a temporary recast for Maxie the other day. Maxie was out, but then she was back. Kirsten Storm was back the next day. So,
Mhm.
literally one episode recast. We don't know why, folks. We don't care. She needed time off for one reason or another, and that's how it comes down. Let's see.
Right. I give them a lot of grace with that too,
I do.
because soap actors and actors in general, you're not really supposed to like have a day off, even if you get sick. It's
Yeah.
like frowned upon. So it's like you literally like either have to show up to work sick and do your job, or if it's so serious, or you have like a death in the family, like you have to take time off. So I like to give them a lot of grace with that because I feel like there should be more of some kind of like system. I maybe they do have a system in place, and I don't know, but some kind of system in place that if something happens and they did get seriously ill or had a death in the family or something, that they could easily,
Yeah.
call somebody in to get their time off.
Well, that's where the recasts come in. Oh, absolutely, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
theoretically, you can't plan an illness when
Yeah.
because the shows tape so much, and then they have like
Right.
3 weeks to a month off, and then they go back to tape. You can't always plan to be sick while you're on vacation.
Right.
um, all right, let's see. All right, so I titled the episode today, Nina Wants to Confess. She's got she got a lot of guilt because of the SEC thing. Like she's still living with this guilt because she's the one that pointed the SEC towards
Mhm.
Carly. Although Ned is kind of Ned is keeping her secret as long as she gets the information from Aurora, even though Michael went to him and said, here's my voting proxies. Have at it. That's what you want. That's fine. And Drew's like, I don't care who sent me to prison. I'm over it. I'm done. Let's put it behind us. Like again, another story that's just convoluted to the point where there's nothing, no adhesion to it. Like Michael blackmailing Nina to say, okay, well, I won't tell your secret as long as you give my mother back her half of the MetroCard. Well, Carly doesn't want it. As long, you got to stay away from Willow and Wiley, or else, but Willow's the one that's pushing a good relationship with Nina and giving her the grace. So there's just no adhesion. Eh, I'm kind of blaming it on the fact that now, this is probably about the time where the regular writers are coming back after the strike, and the temporary writers are, leaving, and they're trying to tie things up, but it just seems like there's no adhesion at all in this one specific storyline. Why does Nina still have a lot of guilt? Drew's out of prison. She's, it's Ned has his memory back, but they've talked about that. And, you know, Michael said he took care of Ned. It's just, I don't know. There's just nothing there.
I think they're just trying to draw it out for drama's sake or something, which is just exhausting when we've been at this storyline for a long time now. And it's dragging out to the point where I'm just like over it. And I
I'm
just
all
want
about
it
slow burn
over.
storytelling, but this is just a glacial pace at this point, to the fact where, I just, I, I'm over it. I'm over it. I don't care if the information comes out, because more people know about it in Port Charles than don't. The only person that really doesn't know about it is Carly and Drew at this point. Because now Lois is going to tell Sonny, um, that it was Nina that called the SEC, and maybe that's where this is supposed to be headed. But again, the person doesn't care. So uh, I don't know.
I hope like
They wrap it
January,
up.
like this January, like now.
Yeah,
Like I hope this gets resolved in the next like 2 weeks. The truth comes out. We're done. We can put this away because it's just been an exhausting
I agree.
storyline, and I'm tired of Nina going, oh, Michael, what about this?
Oh, right.
Like
Yeah,
I'm just tired. I'm just tired.
I am too. I am too. We do know this coming Thursday there is a General Hospital special prime time. At was it is it 10 o'clock? Yeah, 10 o'clock Eastern time. Where it's going to be a 60th anniversary special. A lot of former and current cast members were interviewed for it. I know that Rick Springfield is featured on it, as well as some other um, prominent names from the JDH's past. So check that out on ABC, 10 p.m. Eastern this coming Thursday. January 4th, live on ABC. All right. Speaking of which, they did announce on about the days that they're going to be doing the memorial for Jacqueline Zeman and Bobby Spencer. You know, I still don't know the storyline where they're going to actually kill off the character. But we do know that there are going to be a number of people coming back to town for that. I believe it's going to be starting next week. We know that Ryan Carnes is picking up the Lucas character again, so he'll be back. Um, Curious is that there was a picture released apparently of who's going to be involved with this, and the internet was a buzz because Spencer and Trina were pictured in the picture for the memorial, or pictured in the cast working that day, but Joss and Dex were not. And it being Joss's grandmother that's passing. I think we went over this a bit last week, but the internet was all up in arms about that, as always, as they do. Maybe they just couldn't be there for the picture. I don't know. But that's gonna be a tearjerker. Those two
Oh yeah.
episodes,
Yeah.
knowing full well that Bobby Spencer was a loved member of the cast, and you know, the show as well.
Yeah, GH has just had a hard year last year with
Yeah,
so many passings, Jacqueline Zeman being one of them. So it's tough. It's going to be a tough episode. And unfortunately, like GH does, is when a cast member passes, they usually just have the character pass as well. So it's like going through the passing twice for
yes,
both the cast and the crew, and that's tough.
yeah. Well, we just saw that on Days, you know, back in August when they finally had the memorial for Victor Kiriakis, not Cat
Mm. Hmm.
Victor Kiriakis, John Aniston's character. Of course, being that they have a 6 month filming schedule ahead of time, you know, it did take a couple months to get to it because he did pass away in December of last year. John Aniston, that is. So, I mean, it when you have the legacy characters, clearly that's when they do the big things for both the character and the actor. But obviously, this year we also saw last year we saw the passing of Billy Miller, who originated the Drew character, and Tyler Christopher, who was Nicholas for a number of years. I obviously they're not going to be killing off Drew or Nicholas anytime soon. Um,
Right.
but you know, and they're not, and I highly doubt that they're going to go ahead and give any kind of on-screen memorials for either one of them, with the exception of the
Right. Because the character is still happening and
exactly because the
recasted.
characters,
So
yeah, because the character was already recast. Um, all right, so kind of going back to the Nina storyline, I will say there is one twist that I am liking, in that Cyrus was in the confessional when Nina was giving her confession about the SEC information. So now the question becomes, what is Cyrus going to do with that information?
yeah, I thought that was interesting. Scene showing him on the other side of the confessional. I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah,
Here we go. Are you trying to act like your father Cyrus now? I just give me a little creepy vibes. I was just like not. I mean, it's not like I was not expecting it because
right.
he's a sneaky guy. So seeing that and then having him and Nina have the conversation, like, I thought you were a man of God,
Hmm.
blah blah blah. Now you're not. Yeah, I just kind of wish that they would have us see Cyrus show his cards a little bit more to us, the
Yeah,
audience, so we know a little bit more of what he's planning. Because right now we kind of just don't.
we know he's not reformed, but at the same time, we don't
Yeah,
know what he's planning.
we don't know.
Um,
Yeah. I kind of
so
wish we knew a little more because it just like he's just creeping around in the shadows and now he's in the confessional. And I'm just like, what is your end game here, sir? Like,
Yeah.
I want to know. Like,
So this is something big that I saw in a Facebook group post in that, and I know Facebook is Facebook is littered with complainers, but let me ask you, as somebody who is a practicing Christian, how do you feel with in regards to them having Cyrus portray a character who is one of those, prophets in sheep in wolf's clothing, that
yeah,
on the
that's what
front
I just.
side, or wolf in sheep's clothing, I should say, on the front
Mhm.
side, he's spouting all the, passages and quoting the Bible, but then behind the scenes, he's still a manipulator and a false, who he is. How do you feel as somebody who is a, practicing Christian about the portrayal on TV?
No, exactly what you said. I feel like he's using passages in scripture and he's using God to manipulate people. And I kind of could tell from like as it started, I was like, "Ooh, this is interesting. Like this is very entertaining for me to like watch Cyrus act like he's Pastor Cyrus and he's gonna preach a sermon to the guys in the in the
Right,
prison." And it was just kind of entertainment for me at first, but then I could realize there's something off because
right,
he never said the name of Jesus, and the only way you get to the Father is through Jesus. So Jesus was never actually mentioned until recently by Nina. Actually, I think Nina or
yeah,
somebody said Jesus, but Cyrus himself had never said I've see Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. Like it never seemed like a genuine conversion. It never seemed like a genuine faith
hmm,
in Christianity. It seemed like he was using God and maybe he did learn his Bible a little bit and learn some scriptures that he could use to his
right,
advantage in order to trick people into thinking he was somehow this changed man, which he was
right,
not. So he definitely used God and used passages in the Bible or principles from the Bible to his advantage to try to trick people and manipulate people and get things to go his way, which I think the person he's probably trying to trick the most is honestly Laura at this point.
right, yeah. But how do
Yeah.
you feel?
Like,
How do you feel with them portraying his character that way? Like the use of Christianity in the storyline. Um, I saw somebody say that they have to stop making a mockery of the Christian faith on the show. And I don't take it as a mockery of the Christian faith, because
no.
this happens every day with people. There are many people out there that, as the saying goes, has one foot in the world, one foot in the, 1 foot in the world and 1 foot in the church. Um,
If anything, it's a mockery of maybe like religious
mhm,
people, maybe. Just because like and he's not even really I don't even know if you would label it Christianity exactly because like it's almost like he's using religious practices.
right.
Because my background, I come from like a non-denominational Christian background.
Mhm.
I don't come from like his church apparently that Nina went to that he was acting like he was on the other side of the confessional. That's more of a Catholic thing. I think
That's
they do that in
what they
other
portrayed as.
denominations,
Yeah,
maybe. But that's traditionally a Catholic practice to go to
right.
confession. So he's trying to act like he's a priest, basically. So that's different. That's a different thing. But yeah, the whole thing is like I wouldn't see it as maybe a mockery. And I don't take offense to it because obviously it's just entertainment. Like
Right.
they're just
That's what I
trying to
said too. Yep.
make entertainment out of it. Like it's not real. His conversion's not real. I think they made that very obvious on
Right.
GH, and I don't think they're specifically trying to like trigger anybody or make anybody mad.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that's
again, it
how
comes
it
back
looks
to people being super sensitive nowadays towards everything. Um, you know, they could put something like there's a big uprising because of last night's New Year's Rockin' Eve, and Green Day changed one of the verses in the song American Idiot to mock, or to kind of mock Republicans and mock the MAGA movement or whatever. And it's like, again, you know, I I'm not going to be getting political on the show, so don't worry. But
That's a whole nother can of worms.
exactly, and I've done that, but um, it's like, who cares, really? Like, I personally don't care what entertainers think politically or whatever, as long as you don't, like, from what I've seen more people who are against against the MAGA movement, against the Republicans, as being the ones to force their beliefs down other people's throats. That's from what I've seen. Are there extremists on the other side? Of course there are. But realistically, there are a couple things where I don't want to see. And if General Hospital did start, let's say they put Laura as mayor, as becoming this ultra conservative, you know, character to combat, some of the other characters in Port Charles, um, there are going to be people complaining, saying, "Oh, you're just making a mockery out of Republicans now." So, you know, there's going to be people complaining about everything at any point in time. So, um, I just I wish there were certain things they'd stay away from, but I understand for entertainment purposes, they go to certain subjects. I get that. So people, if you do get offended, um, and Nathan, you're exactly correct. There are extremists on both sides of the aisle. It's never pretty at all, and that's what it boils down to. As they say, the left wing and the right wing are on the same bird. So just it's a shit show all over the place. Um, but getting back to it, I don't, and again, as somebody who has a Christian background, Catholic background and Christian background, I don't feel offended. I like the story they're trying to tell with Cyrus, because Jeff Kober is one of the most cerebral actors I can make you believe his character that I've ever seen on General Hospital. And he's absolutely fantastic. As a matter of fact, the 10th floor got a quick interview with him on the red carpet from the Daytime Emmys. Go over to the 10th floor podcasts on YouTube to check that out as well after watching us. Continue to watch us first. Any other thoughts on Cyrus or the Cyrus character, or anywhere that's going?
Not really. I just kind of hope that we just see more of his plan. I'm just kind of a little like they're teasing a lot of him in the
Yeah.
background being a creep and now this Father Cyrus thing. So I kind of want to see more of his plan. Maybe not, they're probably not going to show us his end game, but they've piqued my interest enough to be like, where is this going? Because everyone in town can tell that he's not 100%
Well,
genuine about this.
we thought the end game had to do with Mason and Austin. Clearly, that's not it. We
No.
thought the end game had to do with Pikeman. That's clearly not it. So yeah, I agree. They're not showing us what Cyrus's end game is right now.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm here for the ride. I think that the Cyrus storyline that has been woven and changed over the past 6, 7 months is absolutely fantastic. You know, yes, storytelling, I like consistency, but when you have the same character and they're giving you these red herrings where, we know that Austin went to Cyrus, and in Pentonville. We know that Betty was working for Austin or for Mason and Cyrus, and they set up with the Pikeman stuff. And so we know all this. The red herrings are there. Now it's a matter of Cyrus's story actually starting to pick up steam. So I'm happy with that. Um, all right, let's move on a little bit. Um, do you uh we saw that Cody, or that Deception, was back on Home and Hearth. again. And we saw that now Lucy and Scott have a plan to bamboozle Tracy out of deception. And they're going to pretend that the Lucy and Tracy, or Lucy and Scotty, are dating, and they're getting into a fight, in public, and then then Lucy wants Scott to marry Tracy, or get involved with Tracy in order to get the shares of deception. To me, that sounds like a very Lucy move, but I'm not. I don't know. Would Scotty go along with it? That's my question.
It seems like he is right now.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
because he doesn't like Tracy, and him and Tracy have this like feud. So,
right.
I mean, he's all for it, I think. I don't know if it's gonna work. I don't think Lucy's plan is gonna necessarily work, but good luck. I think Brooklyn is a better shot at getting deception back
Yes.
for Lucy and Maxie at this point.
I don't I kind of like how Brooklyn's there, where she's playing Tracy because she wants to get control of deception in order to give it to Maxie, but she's still so harsh against Lucy. So there's just that dynamic where Brooklyn, we know, is trying to get it back for her friends, but then at the same time she's very harsh towards Lucy. Like, I don't, is she specifically being, abusive, or not abusive, but mean towards Lucy because she wants to show Tracy that she's um able to take over the company, or is it something else that I'm just missing? Or is she just like working, like, um or is she really against Lucy? I don't know. I'm torn on this.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure either. I think you're referring to Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
So I think Brooklyn is just trying to do anything she can to act like she's friendly enough with Tracy so she can trick Tracy and get control of deception from Tracy so she can
So
give
you
it back.
think you think she's working Tracy to the point
Mhm.
where, so
She's
so she's
playing both sides a little bit, yeah.
what?
Like she's playing Tracy,
Yeah.
but she's been open with Maxie about it and
Oh yeah.
saying, "Hey, this is my plan to give it back to you."
So my question is she, are her barbs against Lucy a work to saying Tracy's good graces, or is she really telling Lucy how she feels because Lucy and Tracy have this feud, and she's showing her loyalty to her grandmother?
I think it's just to show loyalty to her grandmother, so her grandmother doesn't suspect anything that because then Tracy would be like, "Oh, you're double crossing me." So I think it's just that. I mean, maybe she does really have issues with Lucy, but I think it's just
I,
more
I
so
know
to
I
play
know
along
that
with.
I know that Maxie and Brooklyn worked through their problems. The fact that Brooklyn stole the information for Tracy. I understand that, and I get that. But Brooklyn has not sat down with Lucy to be like, listen, I only did this because my grandmother had this over my head, or whatever the case is. Listen, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the company back, but she said, she did tell Maxie straight to her face. She's like, I'm getting this for you, not for you and Lucy.
Yeah, right. So, which is why she probably hasn't sat down with Lucy and told her plan because maybe it's specifically to help Maxie because Maxie's in a lot of debt. So
Yeah.
she's really more worried about Maxie's financial
Agreed.
situation than
Yeah.
Lucy.
And Nathan, you make a good point. Lucy was very cutthroat when she threw Luke in Tracy's face, and it was a low blow.
Yes, it
The thing
was.
being very good. That was,
Yeah, when that came up, I was like, "Ooh, we
yeah,
ruffling some feathers now."
absolutely. again, for those of you who are watching, thank you for tuning in. And go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe, get notified. And also, by the way, I forgot to announce it on last week's show. We have a new shirt at our at sudsquarecircle.threadless.com. I made a comment about Diane a couple weeks ago. And that shirt is now available. Diane, business in the streets, freaky in the sheets. And so that logo is available on our website, on our shop website, sudsquarecircle.threadless.com. Obviously, for copyright issues, I couldn't say Diane Miller. That's copyrighted ABC, but just by using the name Diane, there's no problem with it. So yeah, go there, buy our merch. If you know someone named Diane, it could be a nice gag gift for them. Or maybe it might just describe them. But go over sudsquarecircle.threadless.com or go to our website, sudsandsquarecircle.com, and you can follow the link to our shop. So definitely check that out. All right. Have we missed anything in terms of this week in Port Charles?
Sprina.
Well, yeah.
We mentioned them a little bit
We did
earlier
mention
at the
them a little
beginning,
bit.
but they're deciding to go to Paris together. So that's kind of a big deal for their relationship.
Do you think that Spencer going through her mail sitting on her desk was a little, I don't know, nosy or crossing some boundaries?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a violation because she's like, you weren't supposed to see that. Like, she obviously had it like under a magazine or wherever it was for a reason. So, yeah, it's a little intrusive. Like little intrusive to like go ahead and read that letter. Like, he could have just maybe saw it and then
Right.
waited for her to come out and been like, "Hey, what's this about? Like, what are you getting from Mr. Braun?" But I think he went ahead and read the letter, didn't he? Didn't he read it, or
I think
maybe
he
he just
did, yeah.
So it was just kind of a little bit. I think it was crossing a line a little bit, but Trina has a habit of giving him a pass on a lot of things
Yeah.
because she's in love with him. So, I mean, I still like. There's still some Spencerism. I'll call him Spencerisms. Like, I
Right.
don't really care
Yeah.
for all of his character traits. I think he still has a lot of growing up to do.
I agree.
That's just me. Trina's in love with him, and he's going to try to make it work with her and think he's going to just fly home on the weekends to see, I guess,
Ace,
the
yeah.
baby Ace. But I think Esme is going to have some things maybe up her sleeve coming up now that she's got her memories back to try to, keep him maybe with her and not with
Right.
Trina and Paris. So we'll see.
I'm anxiously awaiting those scenes with Esme and Trina now that Esme is back to her own self. I really was hoping for a redemption storyline for her, just because I'm always someone to give someone the benefit of the doubt, give them a second chance, and I wanted her to kind of go to Heather and be like, this week and just say, I'm getting my memories back, and I'm starting to, or even go to Kevin or Laura and just say, I'm getting these memories back of what I did. I am so, so sorry. I remember what I've done, you know, but then
But
remember,
she's going the opposite direction. She's
yeah,
told her mom, she's like,
he's
I
justifying.
remember that I did them, and I remember why, and I remember why I felt justified in doing what I did.
Yeah. So it does remain to be seen. Remember, no episode today. The new episode is tomorrow. So it does remain to be seen which way she's going to go. Because she did say, "I remember what I did, and I remembered why I justified it at the time." So maybe she will have a change of heart. I don't know. But I do want to see Kevin involved. I want to see Esme have this internal conflict and have to go to Kevin and be like, listen, I know you're my uncle, but you're also a psychiatrist. I need to talk to you because I'm remembering my past and I want to figure out which way to go with it, or the right way to go to address my memories, my feelings, what have you.
Yeah.
Because even though we do need more villains, and Esme could be the next Helena, um, in theory, um, Charlotte does have a ways to go to become the next Helena, but um,
Charlotte's a little young.
yes, that's why I said she's actually off TV for a while. She did have surgery in her real life, not from a gunshot wound at least. But Scarlett Fernandez, who does play Charlotte, is off for a little while while she's recuperating from surgery. But yeah, I mean, I when Charlotte grows up, I could see her being another Helena. But Esme right now, it could. I feel like the character was always kind of in that flux. Like she lost her memory, so she didn't know what she was doing. So she was being as good as she can, and so many people were against her and not giving her the second chance. But now that she's getting her memory back,
That's going to change things again. I don't know why they waited so long, because I'm like, I feel like it's almost too late for her to go back to being evil Esme. I'm like, really? We're gonna have her get her memories back now, like a year later? I feel like maybe 6 months ago it would have been fine.
yeah.
But now I'm like a whole year later, she's gonna get her memories back and be like trying to get back to her old self. Like I don't know. I don't know how I
Well,
feel
my
about
thing is her on Christmas Eve, no less, breaking into Windermere, and trying to figure out her past that way. She calls, Spencer to be like, hey, just keep Ace overnight. I'll be back tomorrow,
it. Yeah.
pick him up. And it's like, all right, so you're getting your memory back. Are you automatically gonna start putting yourself first over your child again? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll give her one thing. Even while she was pregnant, even before she jumped off the parapet and lost her memory, she
Yeah.
was theoretically putting her child first. She wanted to make sure her baby was safe. Did it have a selfish motive behind it? Yes, of course, because she wanted to blackmail Nicholas, into giving her the money for raising the child and everything. So clearly, that's where she was originally going with it. Um, but now I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? How are you reading the interaction with Esme and Heather?
The interaction, with Heather, her mom, I like I like the interaction. Obviously Heather's like, you know act like you don't know anything and be
Right.
secretly evil and all that. So I think that's obviously just her, like, create more drama for the
Yeah.
storyline, because it's not like it wouldn't be any fun for Heather Weber to tell her daughter, "Hey, just confess that
Right.
you have all these memories coming back and apologize for what you did." And like, no, obviously that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I kind of like the dynamic of her just trying to mentor her own daughter on how to be like an evil person again.
Right. Yeah.
I find it really interesting, actually. I mean, Esme obviously is not one of my favorite characters, but I honestly find that character arc of her like really like interesting to see where it's gone. Like she went from being evil, and then she lost her memory, and then we thought maybe she was just going to be like a nice person, but they haven't really given her anything
Yeah.
in the last year as like a supposedly nice person who doesn't have her memories. We just been kind of like, it's almost kind of like we're waiting for the other shoe to drop, and
Right.
now it's
Yeah.
dropped,
Yep.
and now she has some of her memories coming back, and
Yep.
now she's like, well, I feel justified about what I did in the past. And I
Right.
was like, okay, so what are you going to do about it? So now it's like her mom is basically encouraging her to act like she doesn't have her memories,
Yeah.
and I guess plot evil schemes behind the scenes.
Which which actually may be the best advice, because if you think about it, if she does show that she remembers what happened, she can be arrested and tried for that revenge porn, because they dropped the charges so that, when she got her memory back, they could refile instead of having, instead of being found not guilty by reason of mental whatever, um, because you lost your memory, then they wouldn't be able to do it because of double jeopardy. So now that she is getting her memory back, now she can be tried for it. So yeah, that's probably the
Right.
best option that Heather was giving her, was to keep quiet about it. Once Spencer finds out, or Spencer or Trina find out that she has her memory back, Robert is going to be the first call that they make to reprocess those charges against her.
Right. Well, if Trina catches on to the fact that she has some of her memories back or catches something off
Yeah,
with her, then she's gonna know.
yeah,
She's gonna know, do you remember? Do you like remember what you did and you don't feel bad about it? Like she's gonna that's why we might get this big showdown because there
yeah,
must be a reason, right? Why we're gonna get this big Esme and Trina showdown in 2024. So,
exactly.
that could be part of it for sure.
All right, so I think I mean, I know it was a shortened week because of the holiday, but I think we've covered everything. Well, Friday's episode, we saw Drew come back from Australia.
Hmm.
So we got to kiss Carly at midnight.
Oh,
Uh,
they did a lot more than kissing.
well, yeah, of course. Um,
Wow, chicka bow wow. In the
yes.
sheets, baby. Uh,
So yeah, Drew came back from Australia. Um, and they had their New Year's Eve episode with all the fire. I don't. It's amazing to me that Port Charles and Salem both do uh fireworks. On New Year's Eve, hit the stroke of midnight. Nothing around here that I know of does that.
really?
Um,
They were all up and down my street doing fireworks, like literally in the street. The neighbors were setting them off in the street. And I'm
that's
like,
something
wow,
else.
do not drive down my neighborhood street near midnight on New Year's Eve. You not gonna be able to get through. It'll be like a fire hazard. So, because they let, like, literally in New Orleans, they kind of let people just do whatever. Like, they
Yeah,
give them a pass on New Year's Eve and probably New Year's Day. Because I still heard people doing fireworks earlier tonight, and of course July 4th. Like, they just give them a pass and they just
yeah.
like do whatever you want. It's not illegal for those days.
4th of July, yeah, I get that. 4th of July, I get that, but nothing. Nobody around here that I know of that set off fireworks for for New Year's Eve. Um, but whatever it is, it's more, in my opinion, it's more of a drinking holiday, anyways. Um, but all right, so I mean, I think we kind of went over a couple things. Just to, we went over everything pretty much in Port Charles, from last week. So a couple things I do want to point out. I am working on B&B for beginners. That will be starting within the next couple weeks. I'm just getting my co-host down for that show. Which I actually didn't realize that the character that plays Finn on Bold and the Beautiful is actually the guy from the Liberty Mutual commercials. Um,
I know. I found that out too, real quick. I tweeted about it. I was like, wait, did I just see Finn in a Liberty Mutual
yeah,
insurance
I
commercial?
didn't realize, I didn't put two and two together until I actually just saw them. So yeah,
Yeah. I know. I love Twitter for that because if you have a question, people are very quick to like
oh yeah.
answer. Like, oh yes, you've seen him. Oh yes, this is what's going on with this. Like, so Twitter's a good resource for that.
So yeah, B&B for beginners will be starting within the next couple weeks. Stay tuned for that. I am getting again caught up. I'm still caught up on all the other soaps of YNR and Days. Um,
Yes.
and so
I applaud you for that. I can't keep up with all four.
uh,
I only watch the Thope scenes on Bold and the Beautiful from Instagram. There's somebody called Thope fans. Thank you, whoever you are, because that's how I like know what's going on with Thomas and Hope. I don't really care that so
I
much
will
about the
I
show.
will tell you that the whole Eric storyline has been dominating the entire show for the past month. Like,
Yeah.
no
Wow. They
other.
only have half an hour on that show, so
Exactly, but I mean, it's like we haven't seen Deacon, we haven't seen,
yeah.
you know, anybody else from those storylines, um, at all in the past month. But I guess they kind of are putting everybody into Eric's orbit, anyways. I think there's maybe two or three
Mhm.
characters that just aren't um involved in the storylines. But either way, um, that's coming down the pike. and as well as still getting my little bit of wrestling news here and there, but want to get something ongoing with that as well going forward. So just stay tuned to this YouTube channel as well as the podcast feed, wherever you find your favorite podcasts. And Chrissy, you have anything going on in your neck of the woods with um, your Roswell stuff or anything else?
Oh, I mean, yeah. Yeah, let's see. I mean, I need to get back to maybe doing some Roswell movie nights on my channel. I usually do those on I just announce those on my Instagram and we do them on Zoom. But we did a New Year's Eve rewatch. That was fun on Friday. I've been starting Dawson's Creek rewatches
Mm-hmm.
with a friend of mine on Instagram. So if you're interested in that, we're usually doing it on Sundays at around 8, usually 8 p.m. Central. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing with that page. And then I started starting a Swifty meetup social thing with a friend of mine for the people in the New Orleans, greater New Orleans area, where we're going to meet on the 13th of every month with fellow Swifties. So I'm excited about that. So if you're listening and you live in the New Orleans area, let me know if you're curious, and then I
All
connect you.
right. So Swifty Nation is in full effect here. Um, uh, that's pretty much it though, in terms of programming notes. Or I do have to announce in in all of my posts that I've been doing. For some reason, I have a problem remembering about Take Two Radio Soaps and Review. I am part of that every other Monday. And I do apologize to the Take Two crew that do pay attention to the shows, and my tweets or excerpts or posts or whatever you want to call them. I am not leaving that Twitter feed or tagging that out on purpose. I legitimately don't think and forget sometimes that I am not only part of this, I am part of that as well. That is every other Monday. We will be back with that next Monday, I believe, 7 p.m. Eastern time, on Blog Talk Radio. That is Take Two Radio Soaps and Review. So that is every other Monday. So I am part of that, and I do want to apologize for not putting that in my tweets, for Happy New Year and Merry Christmas last week as well. But all right, so Christy, do you want to get to our we normally do our thankful minute at the end of the show. Being that it's New Year's Day, it's gonna be extra thankful. But we'll go ahead and do the thankful minute as well. Let me get a minute on the timer. And as soon as you're ready, go right ahead.
All right. Well, I am thankful for this past week. I'm thankful I had off work today, even though I forgot I had off work today. But my boss was cool about it. I got to spend the day, sleeping with my cats. I'm really thankful for new friends in this that I've been able to make in the past year with Swifties, and I am really just I just feel very blessed that I've had time with family over the holidays, and I don't know that I just get to have a safe place here to talk about my feelings about GH. So that's it.
All right. All right. So I will go next. And you know what? It has been a great year. I did put out a post earlier today that 2023 had its ups and downs. For those of you that I have made it public about me not working since October, um, it was nice. It's been nice to just relax, spend the holidays with my family, especially my 1-year-old niece, who I absolutely adore. Um, it's been a great year. This past week at my gym, which is Sin Fitness in Berlin, Connecticut, we had our Hell Week. And let me tell you, those classes were hell. 5 kickboxing classes in 7 days, hour long. Let me tell you something, those burpees are no joke. And if I never see another burpee, I will not miss them. Um, but it did remotivate me to get back into shape and work out daily or work out more often. So I'll be doing that more often. And that's pretty much it. So for those of you who do listen to the podcast, it will drop tomorrow. And for those of you who are watching live, thank you again. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, get notified. Go to sudsandsquarecircle.com to keep up with all the news about our episodes and about our show, as well as sudswearcircle.threadless.com. Buy our merch, and all the other links are on our website. If you're listening, go ahead and give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and wherever you find your favorite podcast. Definitely listening. So, Christy, any parting thoughts?
Happy New Year, everybody. Hope everyone has, if 2023 was rough for you, I hope it's a better 2024. And if it was pretty good, I hope it's an even better 2024 for you.
Absolutely. And thank you all for listening and watching. Have a great day, everybody. Have a great week, everybody. We'll be back next week. Same Suds station, same Suds time, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. Have a great night, everybody.